Yes, Lagos, it is 16 minutes going to 5. You are tuned in to Smooth 98.1. And today we are going to be talking on personal finance about how you can be more disciplined. And why do I say so? So people sometimes rely on sheer power in order to manage their money. They think, okay, so instead of just building simple steps or systems that will automatically help you in the background, they just say, oh, no, I am disciplined. I know how to manage my money. But really, do you? Do you? Well, I know that the idea really is that most of us always think we know how or we have this discipline around money, but sometimes it could just be the wrong things. We might have our hearts rather in the right direction, but sometimes certain things just don't align. However, once we set up automated transfers, it could also help us in this instance, saving us from actually just spending, and it takes it out. There's no way for it to come back. But yes, having a conversation with me and trying to help us understand how to be better disciplined when it comes to our money is my precious guest, Oler Oladele. She is the founder of the Money Wit Club. Hi.
Hi, nice to be here after so long.
I know. Oh, it's been more than a minute. It's been more than a minute.
Yes, it is. It is. Has
But
been.
glad to have you here, honestly. And it's also an important conversation to have. You see, this money thing, some of us have a bad habit. We see it's sitting in our accounts. We're looking at it. Don't worry, it's there. I'm not going to touch it. But it's not really about you not wanting to touch it. There are things that could just crop up. And those are the things that make us now, in a sense, just
Spend it.
spiral. However, whilst it is good to have willpower, why does willpower alone almost always fail us when it comes to money? When it comes to dieting or exercise, we start strong, but as you know, things can happen. I know how it is. Oh, resolutions. I'm going to the gym. I'm going to stay fit. But life
Just
happens.
doesn't happen. Yeah. Yeah. So, it's very exciting to be here after so long and nice to see you again, Joy. So one of the things that I find that is very common with things like eating, exercise, money, and those are the three major culprits, is that a lot of times we don't realize how much life hits us and how much we respond to these three things based on what's happening in our lives, right? And
Mm,
so a lot of times your decisions around money, your decisions around eating, your decisions around exercising are largely driven by your moods, largely driven by the current
true.
situation, largely driven by emotions, largely driven by fear. So if somebody just had a back issue and they said it was lack of exercise, let's get up, you know, or or something happens to someone and the person didn't have any money, or someone just lost their job,
Mm,
I need to start saving again, right? And so which and I think it's human nature to a very large extent. For all things, you can't keep your emotions stable. What you can do is to set up systems that would keep you regardless. So
all
for
right.
example, you have a job where you have to clock in every day, right?
Mhm.
And you have to clock in physically. The fact is, if you were at home virtually, right? There are some days where you would oversleep and nobody will know, right? But because you would have to be at the office physically, no matter what
Right.
is doing you, you would still show up. And the days where you legit can't show up, you know that those are the days where you tried,
Absolutely
you
can't.
know. So it's the same thing. It's those systems that make us accountable that is needed for you to successfully manage your finances. And that's just it.
Spoken like a true leader and teacher of how to manage your finances. Because teachers decided to come and flog us today, but it's okay. With those of us who know that we need some realignments while learning on how to get back on the path. But really, how do I know you said that it is our emotions that get us in this space? So since we know that things can derail us as quickly as possible, how do we now factor, or how do simple money systems now help us be more disciplined so that we won't just say, okay, I have self-control and I'll do this, and it just
Mm.
seems like everything just spirals and we lose track of everything.
Okay. So you know the way you have that auto debit on your card. So maybe Netflix, like Netflix, or DSTV and the auto debit or whatever subscription you have, right? The
Right.
fact is, if you had to always bring your card to pay for Netflix every month, I put it to you, most people would not pay.
I
Because
agree.
if you did not use it last month, and then they say, come and bring your card, you will say, wait until
When
I
I'm
want to
ready.
watch a movie. And then if
Right.
life is so busy, what happens is that you might go like 3, 4 months before you get to that movie, and then you now pay, right? And so for Netflix, there'll be a high churn rate, if you get what I mean. Now, it's the
Right.
same thing when it comes to your personal finances. What are the things that you need to do? You need to save, you need to invest. Those are the major things. Now,
Right.
if, for example, you set up a system where as soon as my money comes, no, the first thing is you set up an account where this
Okay.
is your investment account. This is the bank account where all my investment money goes to. That's the
Mm-hmm.
first thing. Such that even if when you are investing in whatever, and they say what account
Oh,
will should the transactions come into, is the same account you would use. So that's the first thing. And then when you now do that, right, you now say, okay, every month a certain amount goes to that account as soon as salary comes. The fact is that as soon as you see the credit for salary, you will see the debit, it has gone, it's too late. So those are the things that once you set up, right? And that's why there's a subscription economy right now where they know the psychology of if you set up a system, the likelihood that most people would remember to cancel before the next renewal is very, very low. So
slim.
it's the same spirit when it comes to your finances. The likelihood that once you set up that system, you would remember to cancel before the next one. Even when you're thinking of canceling, you would ask yourself, why? Is this real? It must be something very major that will make you say, you know what, I have to cancel this thing, right? Until then, before you can even think the money has gone. That's the kind of thing that helps.
Okay. So, I'm going to give a real life situation scenario, right, or paint a scenario right now. So you have a regular 9 to 5, you're doing it, and okay, so you have month one is it's automated, so it's going out. Say
Mm.
maybe by you get it into your workspace, 3 years down the line, they have to downsize, and then work stops. What then happens? I know that you've had that automated, money investments and all that going on in the background. What then happens within that space? Because I'm wondering, it's supposed
So
to keep on happening, and that there's a pause. How then
yes,
do you
so
move on? Okay,
I understand what you mean. So let's say money is not coming in. The fact is that if money is not coming in, it would bounce. It's just
true.
like saying your card is not funded, like for Netflix. It will not go. It's not
Okay,
hard. It will
okay,
not go. So
right.
those are the kind of things that, of course, it's a direct debit. It's not that you are owing anybody. So they can't throw you into an OD, if you get what I mean.
Ah,
So it's not like you are supposed to pay interest to the bank,
mm-hmm,
or you're supposed to pay back something to the bank where they can throw you
mm-hmm,
into a debit,
mm-hmm,
into a negative, right? The way
mm.
this is set up is such that is when there's cash. If there's no cash, it would probably give you a
There's
text, or it would
something.
just not go right. That it's not that choky. It's your life, it's your money.
I needed us to talk about this because I've heard so there's some apps that I use, and I've heard where some people will say, oh, if I don't, I've seen the updates. Sometimes, things can happen, like you say, life can happen. It's automated, but certain times it doesn't go, and they're like, yeah, no money in the account. What does that mean? Does that mean that my investments that I have already made wouldn't continue to accrue? Or does
Oh
that mean that,
no, no, no,
oh,
no,
something else is going to
no.
happen?
No,
So,
no, no. Understand what's happening. It's like you earn 100K and you're saving 10K every month, right? The
right.
10K you're saving is still your money, it's just in a different account. It's just in the account where you probably don't have card access to, blah, 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 that you have to take an extra effort to access. So your allow and happiness will not touch it. That's literally what we are doing here, right?
Right.
So Whether you are happy, whether you are sad, that money is separate. So for you to access it, you will take an extra effort. And you see that extra effort that might sound like just going to the branch near your house. For you to actually get up and do that when that's not your regular route, it can take you 6 months. So you must absolutely need it before you go and touch it. That's the idea. So in that process, you would have saved for 6 months. And then you will realize that I survived without this money for 6 months. Am I not proud of what I've been able to accumulate? And then maybe that will be the motivation to keep going, if you get what I mean. But then the
Right.
reality of life is that if something happens and you genuinely don't have cash, it's still your money. Go and spend it.
Don't feel guilty
Don't feel
about
guilty.
touching.
It's life.
Now let's get into the budgeting part, because every time we hear, oh, save, 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 we need to, well, it's important to have a budget. Let's not even
Yes.
kid ourselves.
Yes.
Budgets are a part of your framework if you're trying to be structured, if you're trying to be smart. So, is it still relevant in today's world? We already have automated systems. Why do we need to still, because sometimes it feels like budgeting is like a burden, if I may put
Yes.
it that
It
way.
may seem like that, but think about it. Let's say you earn 100K. How would you decide that 10K is how much you can afford to save? For you to get to that
Mm,
conclusion, you must have said, okay, I'll put 1K in this, I'll put 5K in this, I'll put 10K in this every month.
right,
That
right.
simple conversation is budgeting. You might not be using a tool, you might just be writing it out and then
Okay.
adding up to say, okay, generally every month I can pull out 10K, if you get what I mean. That's literally what budgeting is. So it's budgeting is less of a stress, it is more of sending your money on assignment, meaning that out of this money, this is the amount I'm allocating to this, I'm assigning to this, if you understand what I mean. That is
Right.
what budgeting is. So what that the question is, what method of budgeting are you using? Sometimes it can be so
Oh,
elaborate and now weigh you down, if you get what I mean. But of
okay.
course, if you keep it simple, pen and paper, what you know, use your calculator to add, you've gotten to what you need. Some people are meticulous like that. But if you're not, you just need to be able to logically say, how much can I afford to save every month? Then that amount is now what you would set up your automations for.
Mm. So it's not something it is actually you sitting down, actually figuring, so I have this. I know that by the end of probably the year I want to go on vacation. So for each, I need to assign what is going where and not be overwhelmed that I'm removing a whole chunk of money
At
and
a certain
putting it
time.
into,
Yes, exactly.
that can be
Exactly.
it is overwhelming.
Yes,
Goodness.
yes. It can be a thing.
I'm just thinking about it. For those who are hoping to get away during the holiday season, at the end of the year, I hope you've already started making your bookings. If you haven't,
If you are still alive from summer spending.
well, this
Because that is a thing.
and then
Some people have not
school
yet started recovering. So just allow them drink water. And then school
school is
fees.
resuming.
Hey, you're on the same frequency.
Hey,
You understand how these
goodness.
things happen. Do you? So
That's
it's
a
part of
lot to
it.
think about. That's
It
a
is.
whole lot
It
to
is.
think about.
It
Well,
is. It
Lagos,
is.
there's still more conversations and still more interesting things we're going to be touching when it comes to discipline and your personal finance. Let's quickly take a quick breather. On the other side, we'll be touching on if you need to actually cut yourself some slacks and look at things or hacks so that you do not overspend. But we'll touch on all that on the other side of the screen breather. As always, you want to stay tuned to Smooth 98.1. Yeah, I saw that thing somewhere and I was shocked that people didn't understand what it meant. If there's no money in your account, there's not you. They were feeling anxious. I could see the anxiety where they were asking questions. I'm like,
Where did you
it's
see it?
um one of the apps. I don't want to mention, so it doesn't.
Okay, gotcha. Gotcha. Gotcha.
It
Gotcha.
doesn't look like I'm making business for them, but yeah. So they have a platform where you can ask questions in case you don't know what is happening, and just like you broke it down, I was shocked that Well,
People didn't get that.
yeah. Just like you said, it's not meant to choke you. It's meant to
You're not
help.
supposed to, yeah, but it depends on what it is. Sorry, I'm trying to adjust something. It depends on what it is, right? Depends on the structure. It depends on what you invested in. It depends on if it's a loan or if it's credit. Because if it's credit, it's a different conversation. People need to talk with their full mouths. That's
It's
the first
true.
thing. People need to talk with their full mouth. I think that for me is I would ask to the details so that I know exactly what's
You
happening.
know where you're going.
Yes, so
Oh my
yes,
goodness.
so because
I
people
see.
don't tell you everything that is going on. They don't. It's when kata boss, they'll not be dropping it like it's hot.
Now I see why they were asking questions. It
Yes,
makes more sense
yes,
now. Makes
yes.
more sense. All right, let's get back in. Yes, Lego. Sometimes the behind the scenes are the most interesting parts of our conversations. And if you are wondering what I mean, well, you can go to youtube.com/smooth 981 FM Lagos and get all the behind the scenes and all the interesting gist. Anyways, you're still tuned into personal finance here on Smooth 98.1. And my guest is Oler Oladele. She is the founder of the Money Wit Club. Well, I was gonna, talk about that one, but I held myself in quick time. before sales, before salespeople will come for me like, what exactly is happening here? Anyways, to be a part of the conversation, you have questions, you have contributions. They are very welcome. The WhatsApp platform is 0911 999 0901 to ask your questions and to also put in your contributions as well. Okay, so we were talking about savings, and when it comes to automation, in what ways can automation actually save me from myself? I know that yes, I've set it up, but I still have discipline. But sometimes it feels like I'm I have things I could I there's want and there's need.
Oh my goodness. So
How do
let's
I
just
how
start
do
with
I know
start with
to get
a little
overboard?
joke or a little question. So I went to teach some elementary kids about money in a private
Right.
school. And I put a picture of a burger and I said, is it a need or a want? Please, somebody should
Oh,
answer.
he say need, he's not saying
Is
what.
it what? Is it what? And I mean, those are the kind of conversations that we have with ourselves because eating a burger I don't know, I don't even know what the answer is because last a burger, we know how much a burger costs, right?
Hmm.
And we know how much we can have, like we can use half of that or a third of that or way less to eat a full meal and be full.
Yes.
But after that burger will still be hungry. So is it really a
Oh,
need or a want? I don't know. Now, how does automation save you from yourself in that context? Now, one of the things I always tell people is know where your income is coming from, number one. Just the ability to know that all your income goes into a particular account has given you some sanity. The moment you have like 4 or 5 bank accounts that you're collecting money from, that's chaos because you can't open the app and say how much revenue has come in.
right.
Do you understand? Something as simple as that. So just streamlining, number one. Number two,
Okay.
for example, that maybe school fees is in September, right? And it's always
Mm-hmm.
in September.
Mm-hmm.
And you maybe pay once a year for some people because they get discounts from the school for doing that, right?
Right.
So once you pay this September, we know that the next time is next September, right? So how
Right.
about splitting that school fees into 11 months? And then setting up a direct debit to move it to a particular account so that in September next year, the money is
You're not
complete without
overwhelmed.
stress. So you've not
Ah.
had fun at summer, had fun at Christmas, had fun at Easter, and then afterwards, you're drinking Gary. You're wondering, you're telling stories in school. Do you get?
Mm-mm.
That's another system that you can create that can save you from yourself. Because last, once that money is not in your spending account and people come and say, let's go out, you'll be like, I don't have
I
money.
don't have.
Yes, because the money probably went like 2 weeks ago and then they're coming 2 weeks after. So you are not necessarily thinking that, oh, there's money in that account. You're just looking
Mm-mm.
at your card and you are saying, I don't have money. It has saved you from yourself. Then the next thing also is that money, apart from like the ones where you're piling up for expenses, there's also
Mhm.
piling up for investing, right? Now, you know that investing is long term. There's a way you can be so into today that you forget that you're going to work from 20 to 60. But that 60 to that long life you are praying for, if you hit
You have
120,
not
what's
done.
your plan to fund yourself? If you get what I mean. Now, if you
Mm,
don't start planning now and putting things away small by small, you will get there and wonder what happened to your heydays, if you get what I mean. So you see that simple debit to an investment account, even if it's a mutual fund, though, and they are just investing small, small for you. You
right.
are saving yourself from yourself. And those
Yes,
things you
ma'am.
can literally just do direct debit to your investment account with an asset manager or your
Mm,
stockbroking account. And you can set up an automatic instruction that your stockbroker should buy some certain stocks for you every month. So what have you done? You sat down one day and you decided, what do I want to invest in? Funds, stocks, this. What accounts do I need to open? I open them once. Once I do that, give a standing instruction. As long as money is coming into the account as salary, those people will be receiving that money and they will execute for you. Full stop.
that is very great information. And I hope you, well, Lagos, I hope you're actually doing the needful with it, not just writing it down or listening, but taking into cognizance how you can improve things going forward. A lot of parents listening right now, and I like the fact that you said, it's by September, or you have certain, how many times in a year you will be paying fees.
Yeah.
Why not set that aside every other month so that you're not feeling pressured? And talking about pressure, what are some
Pressure.
small stress-free hacks, if I should like to put it that way, to help curb overspending without actually feeling like one is being deprived, especially when you have events coming and one way or the other, there are certain things that you just see will just come up and you're like,
I want
I would
this.
like to attend that event, or but it's not so much. But eventually it leaves a dent in your pocket. So what are those hacks?
So the first thing I would say that growing up, they'll say don't live like the Joneses. Your mom will be telling you don't live like other people, blah, blah, blah. These
I
days, the
agree.
Joneses are in your phone, they're in your mind, they're everywhere. And such that you see some of these things and you don't realize how much your desires are being shaped consistently and your wants are being attacked. Like your sense of discipline is being attacked on a steady. So my first hack, very first hack, is to reduce your social media engagement, right? Is to
Okay.
unfollow those. It's reality. It's actually reality because you'll be shocked how much people are influencing your decisions. You'll be shocked how much you can have clothes in your wardrobe. You see somebody wearing something and you just feel like, I would love to have that. And guess what? 2 hours before that, you were not thinking of buying clothes. And then they now make the mistakes of saying 50% off, valid for 2 days. Do you understand? That whole conversation would not have happened if you were not
Hmm.
on social media. Start to finish.
This
Like
thing you're
start to
saying,
finish.
I almost fell into a trap. So I've been wanting for the longest time to have. I, my mom has ashokis, plenty, and I've been seeing a lot of people wear ashoke pants and outfits, and I'm like, I should just go into a store. I went window shopping, voila, and by the time I came out, I dusted off my shoulder. I'm like, cutest. We'll see you next time. I'm not doing this. I went in thinking, okay, what's the worst? Maybe a little, just a little token. When I heard how much it cost, I did a rethink and said, you have clothes at home. None of them are bad. What's the worst? You could just cut off the ashoke and attach to if that's what you want. And I did myself a favor and said, okay, not now. We'll find out a way to sew. Make use all my mom's old ones to make one if that's what I need
You
to,
really
but
want, yeah.
it's not a need. That
Yeah,
actually was just
yeah.
the
Yeah, because a lot of these things that make you feel deprived because of discipline, if you
I
check,
agree.
like nobody will say don't spend money on school fees.
No.
and say you're going to deprive you of that. No, the things that will make you feel deprived is food, is clothing, is travel, is those fun things, right?
Glittery
So
things.
yeah, so you have to put them in a budget. That's like the simplest thing. I'm not saying don't do, but
Right.
at least tick the major boxes first, then the balance. No, you can splurge on those things.
Very, very well said. So, if I had only 10 minutes a week, what's the smartest money check-ins I should do, especially for very busy-minded people? What are the quick doables that they should always be looking out for?
So if you're a business owner, I would say you need to look, in fact, for both people, your numbers. Wherever is you're collecting your numbers, your business numbers or your personal numbers. So if you have like a banking app where you can see what your spending was for the week, right? Where your money is going. If you have, for example, a salary that comes once a month, right? Then you need to be able to account for where the money is going. If the money is going in that, um, then that's fine. The second one, which is I've broken your question, Sha. I'm giving the second one is to look at your investment accounts, know what's happening there, because that's your future money. Yeah. And don't just think of today. Think of what's happening to the future money too.
Okay, so that's a quick question then. So, for someone who obviously you have your budgets set aside, right? And you have automated systems go at the go. So for anyone who's trying to make headway now, because you've been talking about retirement for the last bit, and it's important. Take for instance, I have 100K. I know that from the 100K, I have to sort out money for bills, for my regular bills. Then I have money for taking care of myself. I have money for savings or investments. How do I go about it? Because am I supposed to increase my investments and shorten my, so to say, taking care of myself? How does it work?
So I would say put your needs first because you need to be alive, right? You
Right.
need to be alive. So if there's money for food that you need to eat, not buying snail and barracuda. But money to eat.
It's still food
Yeah,
now,
yeah, yeah. But we
Ola.
understand what we're doing, right? Because one barracuda can feed you for the month. Do you understand? So put the needs one first. Put your needs, then put your saving and investing before you put your wants. That's the order I would put it in. So the reason why I'm saying that is because different people earn different things. And two people might be earning 100K, but one person might be the last born and everybody's funding their life. So they might not be collecting money,
Right.
but rent is covered, bills are, someone is sending them credits, blah, blah, blah. And one person can be the first of 10 children. So I can't give you the same advice. The only thing I
Mm,
will say is, what are your needs? Cover them first. Then put away money for investing before you now pay for wants. Once you do in that order, because you have to be alive for you to say you are going to retire.
enjoy.
You
Right.
don't even enjoy it. You must be alive to retire. If you don't eat today because you are trying to save, somebody else will enjoy it. Do
Mm,
you
very well
it's that
said.
balance that we need to
Right.
also factor into, like, we're not trying to be unreal. We're trying to look at everything and say, okay, as long as you're alive, you need that future money, but balance it out. So the order is pay for your needs and make sure your needs are really needs or not burger. And then go to your investment before you go to your wants.
Okay, fair enough, fair enough. And here's a final thing. In a minute or less, I'd like to know for anyone who's listening right now, what's the very first effortless system they can set up for themselves today? For those who
I'm
want to start on this journey.
Separate bank accounts. Separate bank accounts. That's like the easiest thing. Most of us have more than one. So look at all the list, write down the bank accounts that you have and just dedicate one for saving and
Okay.
investing. And that's one. Take out the card. Don't collect card for it. Don't have app. Just have investment internet banking that you have to log in on your computer. Do you understand?
Oh,
Make it difficult to access the funds there. Don't have star something, something, something set up on it. Why? Because
ah,
we are doing mental separation. Do you get? So the
right,
easiest
right.
thing that anybody can do, because most of us already have more than one bank account, just
True.
dedicate one bank account to saving and investing. You'll be glad when you look back after 6 months.
Thank God for financial education. And that's what personal finance affords us, to be well educated. For those who weren't able to catch up on this or still want to have further conversations with you, how can they reach out to you?
So I'm OleroLadele on all social media platforms. So Oler Oladele, and Ola is spelled OLER Oladele on all social media platforms. You can send me a DM, comment on my posts, and I'll be sure to respond.
Mm. Thank you so much, Ola, for all the insight today. It was really, really interesting. And
Thank you for
I've,
having me.
I've, as always, I always gain lots of knowledge. So, Lagos, I hope you've also gained that knowledge. Personal finance, it'll be here next week. Obviously, it's talking about how better to take care of your personal finance.